She is sorry that I heard it and she is sorry she said it, but she would not be sorry if I didn't catch her saying it. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Ara Zone Stories. Today we have a story where this man accidentally heard something about his GF's desire. Let's see what happened afterwards. It was quite by accident that I heard this. We had a group of our friends over, and as the night went on, we all kind of busted out into little groups. Some of us were in one room playing Texas Hold'em, and a couple of others were watching a Lord of the Ring marathon. I thought she was watching the movies, but she and one of her close friends were actually sitting in the kitchen drinking coffee and talking. Our group had run out of soda, so I got up to go to the kitchen to get drinks and a couple of snacks. As I'm rounding the corner, I hear my fiancé talking, and before I completely come in the room I hear her clearly say, "Jason is great, but he will never be the lover that Bill was." She then followed it up with, "It's not really fair to Jason though. Bill was just really gifted down there." At first, I thought about just walking back into the card game and pretending like we didn't have any extra soda or food, but I decided to kind of make a noise and go in. Her friend caught eye of me rounding the corner, and I could see her make a face to my fiancé letting her know I was there. Of course, she has no idea I heard her, and she just stops talking to her and asks me how I'm doing and if I'm having fun. I was tempted to say something like, "I'm having as much fun as someone who is not gifted down there can," but I didn't. I just said yes and proceeded to get my stuff and go back and finish the night. I just acted like nothing was wrong the rest of the night and went to bed. Needless to say, it messed me up. I've never been jealous or what you would call insecure about myself until that moment. I couldn't sleep that night, and I went through a myriad of emotions while laying there. At first, I was angry, then I was humiliated, then I was depressed, then I was angry again. I tried to hide any form of emotion about it, or ever let her know, but as the days went on, I just kept getting worse and worse. I was avoiding her at all costs, and while she was suspicious, she didn't really say anything. That is until she attempted to be intimate with me a few days later, and I flat out rejected her. It wasn't by a conscious decision on my part, by the way. I had made the decision on my own to just try and get over it and move on. But in the moment, instead of being aroused, I felt deeply inadequate and ashamed. Nothing was happening, no matter how much either of us tried. She asked me what was wrong, and I just told her I must have been stressed from work, but she would not believe that or let it go. So much to my humiliation, there I laid, naked in bed, unable to get an erection. I came clean and told her what I heard. Well, this did not go over well at all. At first she tried to tell me I did not hear her correctly, but I just repeated to her verbatim what she had told her friend. Well, once she couldn't deny it, she then tried to apologize, and to her credit she tried to listen to my feelings on the matter, which once again I am sure was more of a big turn off for her because I was a wreck emotionally. She tried to tell me how much of a better person I was and how I satisfied her, and she wanted nobody else. But all I could hear was Charlie Brown's teacher noise. It's been almost a month, and I have zero desire to be with her. None. She is now getting frustrated about this as well. But no matter what I have tried, I just cannot get past this. It's not like she said we were both good lovers or anything like that. She clearly said he was far superior, and my guess is that being gifted down there means he was significantly larger than me as well. Well, I know I can do all kinds of things with my hands, tongue, and whatever else, but no matter what I do, I can't grow in size. Obviously, she refuses to talk about that with me, saying that no matter what she says, it will only make things worse, because even if she says something positive about me, I won't believe her. She's most likely right. Some backstory here. He dumped her. It was not a mutual breakup. He flat out dumped her and broke her heart. I know this because early on in our relationship, she told me this. She said she wasn't ready to be serious about anybody because her previous ex left her and emotionally broke her. So this is not a case of me even being able to say, well, she's with me because she wants to be. If he hadn't dumped her, she would never have left him. Now, I have no idea if after all of these years she would leave me for him if he would come back, but I don't think she would. I just don't know what to do here. I can feel myself checking out of the relationship. I know this is petty, but hearing the person you love tell someone else they prefer to have bedroom activity with someone else is just devastating to me. Her telling me all of my other good qualities has only made it worse, because she is saying things that I think appeal to her, and maybe other women. But being told I am a good provider and will make a great husband makes me feel like weird. Like what would happen if I lost my good paying job, or better yet, what if I were to get injured and couldn't make anything more than state assistance? Would she be there to support and help me? Basically what I feel like right now is a really good friend who she just allowed to have bedroom activity with. I know in my head that this is not correct, but in my heart, that is what I feel. Edit, there are issues I want out there, because there are a couple of things that you said that are not accurate. She was to use the Barney Gumble phrase using sweet, sweet drunk talk. In other words, her and her friend were drunk while talking. Nope, neither of us drink. We don't even have it in the house. That I am upset, she told her friend. Well, this is an odd thing. Before I posted this, honestly, I wasn't that upset about this part. I was then and am still far more upset that this is how she feels. However, now reading a lot of the post, I have become somewhat aggravated that she did share this with her friend. I would never say anything about her to anyone. That would put her in a lesser light. That I am an insecure man-child who should just man up and learn to do better. Well, I'm certain the first part is true, being insecure and all. But the last part is just out of my control. No matter what I do, I will only ever be long. We have talked about this, by the way, when she was trying to build me up. She said that I was already great with everything, but the one thing I can't control. No, I'm not going to do anything rash. It's already been a month, so it's not like this happened last week. But yes, I have to decide what I am going to do here before long. It's not fair to either of us, as I am just coasting through this and no longer committed. She is sorry that I heard it. She said she is sorry she said it. But at the end of the day, she would not be sorry if I didn't catch her saying it. It is what it is. But yes, I do believe she is regretting it, because she has basically been a mess since I first told her. Me not wanting to be with her is bothering her a lot, according to her. I don't know how much of that I believe, but right now I guess I don't know why she would lie. Engineer, for those who keep asking what I do for a living. She is a paralegal. People have been asking about the relationship with the ex and how I know she was heartbroken. We met about 9 months after they separated. I know that ultimately he wanted to be with someone else, although she has claimed he never cheated. He just ended things so he could be with another woman. She approached me at a local workshop, and we started dating. On our 4th date, when things started to get physical, she broke down crying about the ex. It was certainly weird to hold someone while they cried about someone else, but I did it. We sporadically dated for a couple more months, in which time I never tried to cross any boundaries physically, because it was obvious she wasn't over him. So while we just went out of dates, I tried to keep myself of the mind that we were just friends, because I didn't want to commit either. After close to 2 months, she drags me from my car to her apartment and begins to tell me how much she has appreciated my patience with her, and how she felt stupid about dragging me along for so long. Obviously, that was our first night together. Within 3 months of that, she is telling me that she loves me. So yes, she was still hung up on her ex for fact when we got together. I had thought she was over him before this happened. It all came to a head last night. She just came out and asked me if I did not love her anymore, and all that I could tell her was that a very large part of me still did, but that what she said had really made it, so that another part of me just didn't anymore. This started a larger conversation that I won't bore you with, but ultimately it came down to me saying that I would have heard that he was just better at something, or more attentive to something, or was able to do something that I would have felt like I could have worked on it. I would have listened to anything she wanted, worked on any technique, or anything else that she would have shared with me. But to know that I was never going to measure up simply because of a physical issue was not something I thought I could get over anytime soon, or if I ever could for that matter. I was even honest and said that if it was just a ONS she had, or some random guy who was just huge, I might be able to get past that. But knowing that it was a guy who she was still madly in love with when I met her, and only after time did she ever start to come around, then it was just more than I could handle. She kept trying to tell me how much better I was at everything else, and that I should not throw away a lifetime over one aspect. I told her that that one aspect sadly was just a high for me. Not all things are equal. And that honestly it is a mental failing on my part that it is. But whether it is genetics or a learned trait or whatever, that yes, I needed to be my spouse's best. And she has already made it clear that I can never be. I tried my best to be gentle. I tried to take all of the blame of stating that I knew that my attitude was probably not healthy. But it was who I am. By the way, I'm typing this as though this were a clean conversation. It wasn't. There was lots of crying. This is not a happy ending or even a satisfying one. I am beyond messed up in the head over the entire situation. Everybody's Christmas is ruined. We had big family gatherings that we both were attending together, and now we have to somehow break it to our families what has happened. This alone is causing me massive stress because my parents loved her, and what am I going to say is the reason why we are not together? She didn't cheat, and if I say that I felt like she was still hung up on her ex, she will obviously deny it. And she will tell them the truth. It's messed up no matter how this goes down. In the end, I feel like a massive failure. I feel like a failure as a man because of not living up to comparison, and I feel like a failure because I wasn't able to just man up and either get over it. She has begged me to go to couples counseling, and initially I said no, because at the end of the day, what does it change? We can talk about every single thing, and I can try and look at things from a different way. And at the end of the day, the woman who I wanted to marry just told one of our friends that no matter what I do, I will never be as good as her ex. I just cannot see 5 years from now ever being okay with this. But because she legitimately seems heartbroken, I agreed to go. But that does not mean I will keep going. Today I moved out a lot of my stuff, and I am staying with a co-worker for a few days until I can get a place for myself. She has been with her sister all day. Edit. I guess I do want to share one thing I spoke with her about. When we were having our very long conversation, I presented her with a scenario for her to compare. I know her well enough to know that comparing body parts isn't going to impact her the same way it would me. So I put the scenario to her like this. I said, what if you walked in and overheard me talking with my friend Tim and you heard this? Jill is great, but she will never understand me and comfort me the way Tiffany did. But it's not Jill's fault. Tiffany is just the smartest, most compassionate person I've ever known, and Jill just isn't as smart. Then if she would confront me about saying those things about her, that my response to her would have been, I love you for all of your other qualities. Nobody makes a sandwich like you do, and I think long term you won't gauge me for my money. At first she tried to say that this was a totally different issue, but once we talked more about it, she finally agreed it is because of the way we both approach and value bedroom activity. She ultimately admitted that this would really hurt her feelings, but she would not break up with me over it. I then responded that even in my make-believe scenario, which by the way I would never say to anyone out loud about anyone I loved, she could improve her level of education and learn to be more compassionate. I wasn't going to post anymore, but I am still getting daily direct messages wanting to know how things are going. I do appreciate the kind words and concerns, but just so anyone who cares can know, it is over. I went to counseling with her on 3 different occasions, and honestly I tried to have an open mind about it. But at the end of the day, the obstacle was just too much to overcome. I even gave her an opportunity to walk back her statement or amend it or well do whatever she wanted to with it. But instead she doubled down in a way. I think by that time she was very frustrated as well. Neither of us are really happy about this. It has been an absolute nightmare for me trying to avoid telling people and family why we are no longer together. Of course, I tried the old, it's none of your business to some of them. But that failed spectacularly, and since I refused to tell, they decided she cheated on me, and started spreading that around. I've had to do a lot of damage control over that. I've decided to continue with therapy on a personal level, because honestly this entire thing has really messed with my head, and I have no self-esteem left at all. I've only seen her once since we separated, and it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. She is now, justifiably so, in the angry stage. She is furious with me, and has called me everything that you can imagine, and then even made up some words. She's mad at him. She should take this as a life lesson and self-reflect. One day she'll realize the mistake and try to talk to him. That's when he needs to be strong and stick to his guns. She may try to use his family to get you back. But, believe me, you're just a credit card to her by her own description. She definitely would have cheated behind his back if she had the opportunity to do so. He deserves better. Got engaged in 2018. Now husband met a girl on Tinder, and the two would communicate exclusively on Snapchat. We would have typical fights like most couples. However, during these fights, he constantly told me he was sleeping with this girl. One night he told me he was going drinking with the boys, and he would be home by the time I got home from work at 3 a.m. I get home from work and radio silence until 6:30 a.m. when he finally rings to say he had been sober driving, and he would be home in half an hour as he was meeting his best friend for a coffee. I never hung up the phone as I was in the shower and had it on speaker. I got out of the shower and overheard my husband telling his best friend that he had bedroom activity with this girl in our car. I confronted him about it calmly as soon as he got home, and he gaslighted me and tried to make me believe it was all in my head. We've been together since we were teenagers, and this was the first time he had cheated on me, so my emotions got the better of me, and I started texting another guy and exchanging dirty pictures. Nothing physical happened, and I confessed to my husband. I explained the reason behind why I cheated, and this is when he told me he never actually had bedroom activity with the girl from Tinder. I never actually believed him, but we had a lengthy discussion about whether or not we wanted to go through with the wedding. We agreed the wedding would be a clean slate, and I gave him multiple opportunities to come clean about his cheating. He said there was nothing to confess, and we got married 4 years later, and every opportunity my husband throws my infidelity in my face whenever he can. Luckily, we don't have kids yet, but 2 weeks ago he asked me to come clean about all of my cheating, and told me if I was honest he would be honest with me. Apparently he had spoken to his workmate, and his workmate knew about him cheating on me, and told my husband that if he wanted to have a baby with me, he would need to tell me the truth about everything. I had already told him everything, so nothing I told him was new information. This is when he comes back to me and says, I slept with the girl after we had the conversation about getting back together, as well as the time I caught him out, and undoubtedly other times as well. Ever since this conversation 2 weeks ago, he constantly tells me this girl is better than me in every single way. I honestly don't know what to do anymore. My self-esteem is so low. It's not funny, and while I've only ever slept with my husband, he keeps accusing me of having bedroom activity with other guys. He is still in contact with the girl he cheated on me with, and they're still messing around. He is cheating on me with someone else. I really do love him, but I am so depressed at the moment I don't know what to do anymore. Her husband is emotionally and psychologically hurting her. It makes him feel powerful and in control. He has serious issues. She needs to seriously consider leaving the relationship. If she stays, I fear for her mental health. He is very unlikely to do the work needed to fundamentally change himself. Even if he tries, it will be a long, painful road.